Hi guys, this is Ranjit and welcome to the fourth tech Q&A session of 2023 where I'll be answering some of your tech related questions. And I've taken about 22 odd questions and a variety of questions. The first part would be a lot of questions that I got regarding 5G, and I've also taken a lot of questions regarding electric vehicles. That's at the end of the video. So let's start this. And the first question that I got was from Mr. Dipen. He says, which one would be a better buy between the Nothing Phone 1 and the S21 FE below 35,000? The S21 FE was good. In fact, my wife is still using the S21 FE, but now I will not suggest that phone because when the phone came, actually it was pretty good. The camera performance was also good, but what I've noticed is that with the latest update, the camera performance and stuff has gone down a little bit. So again, it's now a pretty old phone. That way, I would say you can have a look at the Nothing Phone 1. I think so. It's for 27, 28 or something like that. And for that price, this is actually a pretty good phone that you are getting. Gets a lot of things right. Now the camera performance also has improved with the Android 13 update. So again, this would be my pick, I would say. And again, guys, if you guys know that YouTube has started a new thing where we can actually link some of the products that we are talking about in the video itself, so you can check it directly from here. So I'll link some of the products like the Nothing Phone, S23 Ultra, etc. and that, so you can check it out. Anyways, moving to the next question. And again, now the 5G related questions are starting. This is by Milan. He's asking, does Android 12 support VO, voice of NR, that is voice over 5G? It's not like Android 12 or Android 13. Your smartphone hardware should actually support VONR. VONR is voice over new radio, that is 5G. And also, it's not just if your smartphone supports that you will get VONR. Again, the network provider also has to actually enable it on their end and enable it for the specific smartphone. So not only your smartphone should have the hardware for VONR, also the network should actually enable it. And VONR will work only for SA network. I'll again talk about that because I got another question about SA and NSA also. Okay, this is by Amulya. It's been a while since 5G rolled out. What has been your experience with 5G in Hyderabad and your travels throughout India? Has 5G speed and coverage satisfied you as a consumer, and what feedback would you provide to the telcos in order to improve 5G service and customer experience? Yes, in Hyderabad we are getting a lot of 5G. In fact, in this area also, this is again a slightly remote area where my new setup is there. Here also I get actually 5G on Airtel. I also have Jio SIM on my S23 Ultra. Here 5G signal I don't get. So yes, in Hyderabad I would say Airtel has slightly more coverage in terms of 5G, but in areas where we get Jio 5G, it's actually good. So overall, I would say experience-wise, Airtel is slightly better in terms of coverage, and speeds actually fluctuate, I would say. In this area, which is slightly remote, I would say, outskirts of the city, the 5G speeds that I get here are just about 250 to 300 megabit. But when I go to the center, heart of the city, where my old office was there on Airtel, the same device, I can touch 750 to 800 megabits. So again, the speed is differing from place to place, and overall I would say if your area has 5G signal both with Jio and Airtel, I'm happy with it because generally at least most places I'm getting at least between 200 to 300 megabit of speeds, and again you can get a lot of things done in that. The only hiccup is that the upload speeds are not that good. With Airtel recently it has improved, but with Jio still I noticed that the upload speeds are pretty slow. Maybe I might get a download speed of 450 megabit, but upload might be capped to just 15 megabit on Jio. So that is one area that I feel it should. But overall, I would say I'm happy with the Airtel coverage, at least in Hyderabad. I wish Jio now covers a lot more areas because Jio is there in the central part of the city, heart of the city. But when I start going out slightly outskirts of the city, Jio 5G coverage is not there. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Mr. Namish. He says, even though some smartphones at the time of launch taunted 11 to 12 5G bands, they still didn't enable the standalone 5G update, that is Jio. Is it some hardware failure or they intentionally didn't do that? Example, Moto Edge 20 Pro. Namish, the Moto Edge 20 Pro was launched almost about 2 years ago. And again, watch, in fact, you guys should watch a dedicated video that I had put around 5G so that you have a lot better understanding. And I would say 5G networks are divided broadly into two. That is called NSA and SA network. And worldwide, I would say 80-85% of the networks are NSA. So this is the most popular. And what do you mean by NSA? That is non-standalone network. And what does this mean? This means that this 5G network is built over the existing 4G network. For example, in India, that is Airtel. That's why Airtel in their ads and everything also says that it is compatible with almost every 5G smartphone, because NSA is the mostly widely used network. And because of the specific phone that you're talking about, Moto Edge 20 Pro, and at that time these telecom providers also didn't have an idea if a provider will be using SA network and which specific bands. Jio is using SA network, that is a standalone network. This network is completely different from the 4G legacy network. It's a completely new network. So on a 5G smartphone, you need separate videos for this SA band. And I think so that is the problem with some of the older 5G smartphones. They don't have the proper SA bands. That's why Jio will not work, or even if it has, maybe VONR will not work. So that's the thing. But luckily, most of the new Android smartphones that are launching in India and they claim to be 5G are now fully supporting, of course, Airtel, that is NSA band, and even the Jio SA band. I hope this answers your question. Again, watch the video. I'll leave a card about 5G if you want to get a better understanding about 5G stuff. Okay, the 5G questions mostly I've taken this. I won't take this one. This is again a repeat. Okay, let's. This is by Hritik. He's asking, when can we expect the full review of the S23 Ultra? This will be sometime about first week of April. In fact, I'm just actually going to be traveling out of the country next week. So when I'm traveling, I wanted to actually use this device as my primary SIM with international roaming and in other countries how it actually works. So I delayed my review a little bit. So once I come back, so hopefully sometime in about April time frame, I'll post the full in-depth review of this smartphone. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Anuj. In general, how does a software downgrade affect a smartphone security in terms of mobile banking, online transaction, app security, etc.? Please share your. Anuj, I think so you are referring to custom ROMs. And yes, if you install custom ROMs and stuff, some of the security related apps like banking or even UPI and all those things will fail to work. There are some security settings and stuff that get tampered when you're using the official build of the device. So if you use custom ROM, that is a problem in some of the custom ROM. That's why I don't recommend a novice user to install custom ROMs and all those things, because you can break these certificates and all those things. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Shwetab. Hey Ranjit, why is it so hard to find HomeKit enabled devices in India? I was converting my home to smart home and Alexa, Google enabled devices were in abundance, and finding HomeKit enabled devices is very difficult. Except Philips Hue, I've found nothing. That is very, very true, I would say. And again, this is my new setup and this is completely smart home. I can control lights, everything by voice. In fact, I'm using Alexa, but again, whatever I have also works with Google Home. And I did check with the HomeKit. In India, at least with HomeKit, I was hardly finding any devices that were compatible with HomeKit. And even if it's there, those were actually costing 5 to 6 times compared to things that were smart switches, etc., that were compatible with Alexa and stuff. So again, it's a cost thing, I think. So India is a very, cost sensitive market. And the HomeKit smart switches and all those things cost so high. That's why I think so in India, most of the vendors are selling smart switches, smart home devices that are compatible with Google Home and Alexa. My entire house works on Alexa and it works very well, I would say. And again, as I've told you, the cost difference was quite a bit compared to the HomeKit devices. That's why I opted for Alexa-based smart home. And again, that's also compatible with Google Home stuff. Okay. Power went away. 1 second, it should be back in a couple of seconds. It's running on UPS power. This is by Ashish. I'll just continue. It should come back. Ashish, what do you think about A54? Is it overpriced, and does it compete with S21 FE and OnePlus 11R's camera? Again, I don't have access to the OnePlus 11R, so I can't comment about the camera performance of that one, and I didn't test it with the S21 FE's camera, to be very frank. And yes, I did cover the A54 unboxing and initial video, and yes, I feel the initial price is slightly on the higher side. That Samsung is definitely charging that 10 to 15% premium. With the credit cards, etc., you can get it for about 36,000, and I feel the fair price of that phone should have been about 32 to 33,000 in my frank opinion. So definitely that 10 to 15% of the premium is there because it's a Samsung phone. But again, for that price, you're getting some things that we generally don't get in a lot of smartphones in that 30,000 price point. That is IP67 rating, and again, the durability was actually a lot better than compared to other phones. But yeah, definitely, as you said, there is definitely that Samsung premium, about 10 to 15% premium on the A54. Okay, moving to the next one. This is by Yash. Hey Ranjit, my question, if you use ad blockers or browsers like Brave, does that affect the ad revenue of creators? Yes, definitely it affects, because many of the creators, specifically websites and even on YouTube, we get a lot of revenue from, the ads that run prior to the video or on the website, the banners and stuff. And if you're blocking, yes, it does affect the revenues. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Sarath. Why Xiaomi 13 regular one is not launched yet in India, and what's your view on the Xiaomi 12 Pro and Xiaomi 13 regular to the current date? Should I go with the 12 Pro or wait for the 13? I actually didn't use the 12 Pro a lot, so I don't want to comment on it, but I will not recommend you the Xiaomi 12 Pro right now. If you are going to go for at least the Xiaomi 13, and the big reason is because of the processor. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is far superior to earlier Qualcomm chips. That way, I would say Xiaomi 13 would be my pick. But I don't know if Xiaomi is going to launch the Xiaomi 13 in India. As of now, they are mum about it, so I don't know. They might launch, they might not launch. This is by Narendra Kumar. 55-inch OLED TV costs around a lakh or more. Yes, about 1.25 lakhs or something. Which model would you suggest me to buy? How much it costs to get extended warranty for OLED? Is it necessary to get extra warranty due to burn-in issues? Okay, let me share my personal experience. I have a LG OLED that I had purchased in 2018. If you search my channel, you'll see that video. It was the C8, if I remember. So search my channel, LG OLED C8 Geekyranjit. You should get that. And now what? It's been over 5 years, and that TV is still working very well. No issues whatsoever. I was also initially a little bit worried about the burn-in, but again, if you're just using it like a normal television, and normal television, you keep changing channels. In fact, I did a lot of gaming also on that one, and I didn't have any burn. Unless you abuse, or let's say just keep the TV for CCTV that doesn't change and stuff, static image, you shouldn't have a burn-in issue. Only precaution that I did is that I've connected that television to a very high quality, currently it's on the UPS. Earlier it was a very high quality stabilizer, so that I protect it from fluctuations, and it's been working fine for the last 5 years. So I didn't have an issue with burn-in. In fact, during the COVID times, we were stuck in another house. We couldn't go to our regular house, and that was the only TV we had. So a lot of gaming we did, a lot of watching TVs and stuff continuously, and again, it worked fine. So again, just use common sense stuff, and burn-in won't be a issue. And again, if you're buying any expensive TV, guys, I've seen my cousins, relatives buying expensive TVs, and within 2-3 years they get damaged. And the reason is that they don't put a good quality stabilizer or a UPS to that. That is very important, because in India at night we do get high voltage above 270, 280 or even 290 volts, and that is very bad for electronics. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Arjun. Do you think smartphones are overpriced nowadays? In fact, I got about 7-8 questions similar to this one. So I'm just picking up this one, but the gist is very similar. Many of you have asked me that why are the smartphones now getting very expensive? Okay, I'll continue the questions. Do you think smartphones are overpriced nowadays? And the price is only considering the camera in most smartphones. We can actually buy a good processor phone and a DSLR instead. What do you think? Yes, smartphone pricing has increased quite a bit now in 2023, and even some of the brands that were very, very strong in the budget range. For example, if you look at Redmi or even Realme, they have also increased their pricing quite a bit. And I did a lot of thinking about this. Why is this happening? I think so Redmi is now in India for more than 10 years, Realme also for 5-6 years or something. And these players were very, very aggressive initially to capture the market share from each other. And because of that, their profit margins were very, very low, almost negligible. But now, after all these years, they have realized that there is nothing like a brand loyalty among the, users in that price segment. Today, let's say if Redmi is offering a specific device as a great deal at a lower price, people will just move forward. Tomorrow, let's say Motorola is doing it, Realme is doing, they'll do it. So now I think so all of them have decided that they want a certain chunk of profit margin per device. That's why you see that even Redmi, I was so surprised, has now actually started increasing the pricing of even their mid-range smartphones. Realme has started, in fact, Realme has now started adding so many new ads in their devices to compensate the cost. So this has happened across the industry. These players now, I think so they have understood that working on very, very low margins in the long run will not work out. So now definitely to be sustainable in the market, their profit margins, they are like going for slightly higher profit margins, and that's a fact now. So we have not only seen, in fact, I would say now finding a good Android smartphone under 15,000 has become very, very difficult. That pricing has moved to about 20 to 25,000. Most of the good Android smartphones are now around the 20 to 22, 24,000 price point, if you notice. So that has happened. Okay, next question. I get this a lot from continuing. We can actually buy a good processor phone and a DSLR instead. What do you think about it? The thing is that I have DSLRs. I'm shooting from a DSLR. I have about 6 odd DSLRs. But whenever I'm just going out or something, I don't intentionally carry my DSLR unless I'm going for a shoot or a specific thing. But your smartphone is always there with you. And the best captures, best moments that you capture are not planned. You just find something very interesting or something and you just want to shoot it. And what do you have in your hand? You have your smartphone. And these brands actually know that. In fact, I have actually stopped carrying, my expensive DSLR mirrorless cameras when I'm traveling. In fact, I'll be traveling again, as I've told you, to another country. And I'm not going to actually take out these, be putting out these heavy cameras and stuff. I'm not going to take. I'm just going to carry 2 smartphones and we'll be shooting a lot of stuff with that. So this is very easy because this is always there in your pocket. Whereas a DSLR or something is another device. You might be having it, but you can't carry it everywhere. And brands know that. That's why a lot of brands, their new models hype about their camera, I feel. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Vivek. My query is about phone call recording. Which brands provide in phone calling without announcement of call recording? Please help. Vivek, I feel as of now, Samsung is the only brand that is having their own dialer built in that does not announce calls recording. In fact, most of the other Android smartphones are now using Google Dialer, which actually announces. And I think so. Google has made it mandatory for other Android manufacturers to have their own Google Dialer, because suddenly all of them started using Google Dialer. It's just Samsung is so big, I guess. Samsung might have said, no, we won't do that. And in the Android world, Samsung has a lot of say. Let's be frank about it. So that's what it is. That's why you see Google Dialer in almost every other Android smartphone except Samsung. This is by Gadget 91. What do you think of the phone that comes with 1-inch camera sensor? I think we will see in more now. Definitely, I think so. You're referring to the Xiaomi 13 Pro that actually had the 1-inch sensor, which is quite big. In fact, that's the biggest sensor for a smartphone. And yes, of course, the Xiaomi 13 Pro had that Leica lens and the working with Leica and all these things. But again, because of that 1-inch sensor, also the images that you are getting were very good. And yes, definitely, that does make a difference. In fact, getting the natural background blur bokeh that you call, even without portrait mode, was so easy on the 13 Pro. So yes, definitely it makes a difference. This is by Ashwin. What is your opinion about the Xiaomi India's 13 Pro camera quality compared to the S23 Ultra with the Leica partnership? As I've said, even in my review of the Xiaomi 13 Pro, I no longer have the Xiaomi 13 Pro. It was a review on it, and actually Xiaomi collected it back. Definitely, I would say the rear-facing camera on that one was beautiful. I just loved it. In fact, I almost, as the review unit went back, I almost went and ended purchasing the 13 Pro, but I didn't purchase it because I just didn't like the front-facing camera of the 13 Pro. That was only niggle, because, and I use the front-facing camera quite a bit, I would say, for vlogging and stuff. But if you just talk about the rear-facing camera, the 13 Pro has one of the best. In fact, I would say S23 Ultra, in fact, it beats S23 Ultra in a few situations. It's not like in every situation. In some situations, this will go ahead. But for most shots, I prefer the 13 Pro's rear-facing camera. It had that, I don't know, that natural finesse that it didn't look artificial, I would say. But the S23 Ultra's camera is no slouch at all. This is also very good. In fact, in zooms, if you zoom a lot, the S23 Ultra obviously goes ahead. And yes, in the front-facing camera, definitely the S23 Ultra is going to go ahead. Okay, this is by Tane. What about the Oppo N2 Flip? Here is the Oppo N2 Flip. I'm still actually testing it. So in hopefully next 2 odd days, I'll post a video about this one. Pretty interesting, foldable, and glad to see something else in the this flip market apart from Samsung. So I like the screen, but again, stay tuned to the video. We'll be posting in about 2 odd days. This is by Varun. How much do you think the Pixel 7a would be priced? Will there be an iPhone SE this year? Can't comment about the iPhone. But regarding the Pixel 7a, I hope Google will launch it below 40,000, because they did the mistake with the 6a. I think that the 6a was launched for what, 44,000, and simply did not say. I said in my unboxing video that it was overpriced, and later on after a month they reduced the price to 34, and then it eventually went to 29,000. So I feel that this time Google will not do the mistake, and they will keep it at 38, 39,000 or something like that. Because even if you recall, the regular Pixel 7a pricing was not absurd. It was not absurd. So yes, I'm having a lot of hope for the Pixel 7a. They might initially launch it at 39 or whatever, and then come down to about 35,000 after a month or two. That's my estimate. Okay, now some EV related question. This is a Ritwag. Okay, first, it's which mobile is the best under 25,000? Under 21,000, there is nothing that is sticking out as of now that is extraordinary, I would say. You can definitely look at the Nothing phone. This is not 25, I think it's 27, 28. That is one that comes to my mind. Even the, Xiaomi Redmi Note 12 Pro was also decent, I would say. So these are the two phones that come to my mind. The Motorola, if you can wait for some time, Motorola also should launch some new smartphone in this price range, because the ones they have launched were all last year's model. Okay, anyways, moving to the next question. And from here, the EV related questions will start. How's your experience with the Tata Nexon EV Max? What's the real world range you are getting in the eco mode? Ritvik, I just don't drive it in the eco mode. I would say 95% of the time, drive it in the city mode, and about 2-3% time, sometimes in sports mode. So can't comment on the eco mode. But in the regular city mode, and this is with AC almost 95% of the time, I am getting a range of about 270 kilometers to about 295 kilometers. This is what I'm getting in the city mode. If I switch off the AC, instantly the range increases by about 30 kilometers. So if you don't use the AC, the range should increase about 30 kilometers. This is what I am getting. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Abhilash. Most of the two-wheelers EV users are sort of early adopters at present. When do you see the two-wheeler EV market picking up and giving competition to the ICE engines in the two-wheeler segment? Yes, Abhilash, you're right. The current crop of EV users and also two-wheeler owners are early adopters. And I'm in fact, at least in Hyderabad, I'm seeing a lot of two-wheeler EVs. So again, I would say a lot of people are adopting it. I hope the quality control is very good. The adoption would have been even better. It's just that I know so many people. Last year, if you recall, there were a lot of fires with EV two-wheelers because of the bad batteries and stuff. Olas burning, this burning, that burning, this EV burning. So I hope, and again, government now has placed a lot of restrictions and so I'm hoping this summer season, now summer is starting, we don't see issues like that. And if everything is smooth, then a lot more users will have confidence in buying two-wheeler EVs. In fact, personally, I know my designer's assistant actually went for the two-wheeler EV, and I asked her why. She said, like, no hassles of filling petrol. My daily run is 60-70 kilometers, and it does. So again, I'm seeing a lot of young, users adopting to two-wheelers EV rather than the older ones. That's what I've seen. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Mr. Puppy Bhai. How long can we keep EV vehicles idle? Will not be using the vehicle for 2 weeks. Will it impact the battery life? And I've got similar questions also. And this is specifically, I'm going to talk about EV cars because I own a EV, Nexon EV. And you can safely actually just keep the EV without using it for even a month and nothing will happen. In fact, on the Tata Nexon manual, they have actually written itself, if you don't use your EV for a month, expect a discharge of just about 1%. And what they suggest is that if you are planning not to use your electric vehicles for 2-3 weeks or something like that, maybe you're going out, don't keep it on full charge. Keep it around the middle, I would say, between 50 to 60%, and you can just keep it like that and don't use it. And expect, a discharge rate, they say, in a month of just about 1%. In fact, sometimes I got this question a lot. Sometimes I don't use my EV for 4 days, and the battery percent is almost the same when I come back after 3 or 4 days. So again, don't have to worry too much about that, at least in the EV cars. I don't know about electric two-wheelers. Okay, this is the last question, and I've got similar questions also, so I'll take this. This is by Mr. Goel. Do we know anything about what will be the cost to replace the battery in the EV after, say, 8 years? It might become difficult to sell or use after the life of the battery is almost over. Can you throw some light more on? In fact, Goal, I think so you are getting this 8 years because Nexon EV, on their Nexon EV, Nexon EV Max, etc., offer 8 years of warranty. And the good thing with the Nexon EVs is, and generally in most of the cars, I would say, except the Mahindra, most of them use LFP batteries. And LFP batteries, actually, their life is a lot longer. Approximately easily about more than 12 to 15 years. And so it's like the Nexon, the Tata guys are offering a warranty of 8 years. For example, every smartphone manufacturer also offers a warranty on their smartphone for just 1 year. So it's not like the battery on your smartphone after 1 year expires. Most of the smartphones batteries easily last for 3 or 4 years. So, as at least the Nexon EV is using LFP batteries, you don't have to worry about it. I would say easily about 12 to 15 years you should actually get. In fact, why I'm saying this is because LFP batteries now are also being used in high-end solar installations. And they are actually, these solar providers are giving a guarantee of 10 plus years on those LFP batteries. So these LFP batteries are very reliable. In fact, I have a lot more charge cycles than the regular EV batteries, nickel NMH battery that you get. Those have just a charge cycle of about 800 to 1000 cycles, whereas the LFP batteries have a charge cycle anywhere between 2000 to 3000 cycles. So again, after 8 years, you don't have to replace the battery. Yes, after 8 odd years, or let's say you have driven 2 lakh kilometers, the range of the battery might go down. Let's say today you are getting a range of, let's say, 300 kilometers per charge. It might drop down by 10 or 12%. So maybe you'll be getting a range of 265. So, but after 8 years, it's not like the battery will be completely like you have to replace it. That's a myth. Anyways, that's it for now for this Tech Q&A session. And guys, again, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. A lot of interesting stuff coming. So take care, guys.